Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Expose Yourself to Art, a show in which we plumb the depths of the creative experience by inviting artists to join with us in a conversation about their life and their work. My name is David Schrader, and with me today, as always, is my co-host, Linda Scheller. Come on in, Linda.
Thanks, David.
Hey, what's going on with you today?
Well, I'm actually working on some Christmas cards to German relatives.
Do you make your own or write them or?
I just write a few sentences in German and just keep in touch.
So what's the German connection?
Well, all of my grandparents came from Germany to New York State. So I've been fortunate enough to go back a few times and visit the relatives there. And yeah.
Okay, yeah. So any other thoughts before we get on with the show?
Well, I wondered, I've seen your dog in the background. You have some pets?
Oh, yes. Yes, we have a new young dog. Her name is Jolie. She's a standard poodle. And in spite of being what a lot of people consider to be a foo-foo dog, she's a rescue dog.
Oh.
Yeah. She was owned by a couple in San Francisco who had her in a condominium, which, if you think about that, is poodles are highly active, very intelligent, full of life dogs. And to coop them up in a condominium, I think she drove them nuts. So,
the best revenge.
So anyway, that's how we got her. What about you?
Well, I have a rescue German Shepherd, Catalina, and also an Australian Shepherd who just showed up here. I live out in the country. I have actually a pasture with 3 donkeys. And I have 3 indoor cats, which is, I think, the cutoff point for crazy cat lady. So
you have a real family of pets there.
I do.
Yeah, be interesting to talk about it, but we have a show to do.
Mm-hmm.
So today's guest is someone I know quite well. It's Tony Pooler. Tony Pooler is, he's a painter, specializing mostly in watercolor. But how I know Tony is that he was a past president of Mistlin Gallery. And before that, he was kind of a leader of the gallery as well. And currently, he is the host of an exhibit that's up in the gallery. It's called Meet the Artist. So I thought it would be interesting to have him on today to introduce not only himself, but the other artists at Mistlin Gallery. And the other thing that I found very interesting about Tony is that in his bio, he starts out his bio by saying, "I have painted all of my life except for the 50 years when I decided to make a living." It sounds like a lot of us. Art plays a major role in our lives, but at the same time, we have to make a living, and just being a total artist doesn't always work that way, you know. So anyway, I think he has a lot to say. So let's bring him in, and you can grill him about his background. Hi, Tony.
Good afternoon. How are you?
We're fine. Great. Yeah.
So I hope I have a lot to say.
Oh, sure you do. Anyway, I'm going to turn you over to Linda. Linda is our history specialist. She kind of digs into people's backgrounds and find out what life is like for you as an artist. So Linda, take it away.
Thanks, David. I like to know what artistic influences and training our artist guests have had. Could you please tell us about it, Tony?
Sure. My mother was an artist and my uncle was an artist. When I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, my uncle came to visit and brought an oil painting set to me. You know, a nice little set, and he spent some time with me, showing me how to blend colors and do this. So my first time out, I did a halfway decent oil painting at the age of 6. So they all thought I was doing great. And then I didn't. Nothing that I did at that young age is hanging in the Louvre. So, but I did have an interest in art basically since I was a little kid. When I went to college, I took art courses for 2 reasons. One, I really enjoyed the courses, and secondly, because I was pretty good at it, it helped my grade point average. So I did that, and then like David said, I kind of had to put art on the back burner for a while because of just career needs. I saw no financial future in art, although I kept my stuff. I still sketched and did a lot of things like that. But it's kind of like the muscle in your arm. If you don't use it, you lose it. So I had to kind of when I began to slow down, my employer was very nice enough to allow me to taper off. I was a project manager executive during a big merger, and toward the end of that, we were winding down with all the tasks, and I was able to work 3 days a week. At that point, I joined the gallery and rekindled my interest in art. And I kind of had to learn some of the stuff all over again.
Yeah. Let me interject something here. What's it like for an artist in the corporate world?
Say again?
What's it like for an artist to work in the corporate world as you did?
There's an old saying that artists work on the right side of the brain, and corporate world, or the things that you keep on your calendar, the must do's, the shopping lists, and all that is part of the left side of your brain. So I just kind of switched the right side off for a while.
Okay.
Tony, I love the Mistlin Gallery, the art, the events, but I don't know very much about its history. Perhaps you could explain to our listeners how it came to be and what it offers.
Well, the Central California Art Association has been around since 1952, and I don't think we have any of the charter members left in our group, but we have a number of longtime members that have been members for 40 plus years. We started off in the basement of the library when the Historical Society thought they needed more space. Tony Mistlin stepped in and helped us secure our present location, and his help has been immeasurable in in the gallery. It's a wonderful location, and if you haven't been there, Linda, it is one of those things that is kind of a jewel in the middle of downtown. People who come in there, I'm still amazed. People will come into the gallery and say, "Wow, I didn't know this was here. How long you been here?" Well, we've been in that location for 11 years.
Yeah. So what kind of, you've been involved for a long time. Has there been an evolution in what goes on there, the kind of things you do?
Absolutely. We have become a lot better at what we do, individually and collectively. What I mean is that our individual artists have grown in their skills. They've really developed into true professional artists. Before, when I was first there, we were seeing people who didn't have the skill levels that they have today. Same people, but they've really advanced their capabilities. And collectively, we've learned how to present the art better. The gallery, when it opened, had dark colored walls and grids on the walls. Within the last several years, we've lightened the gallery with new paint, put in a new hanging system, which is much more versatile and gives us a much better presentation. Lighting is better, so both individually from an artistic standpoint and collectively from art presentation standpoint, we've really evolved.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, as I said when you came on, you're the host of the present exhibit, which means you're in charge of curating the exhibit, getting the members in and hanging the show and just generally.
Yes, and providing donuts for the meetings and stuff like that. The show host, this show is kind of a weird genesis because it started. It was scheduled on the calendar for March. We had started at the beginning of the year getting participants for the show, and then COVID came along, and we were dark for several months, and just now coming back to the show. And since we had a lot of people interested in this show, we decided, well, we'll just put it on the calendar for when we can, and we went out and reconfirmed with all of the artists who were originally on the show, and then we had a few spaces left and opened that up, and we got some additional talent to participate, and now we've got a wonderful full show, and each show has, or each artist has their biography there, so you get a little insight into what makes them tick individually. It really is nice to see people when they come in, they view the art, and then they take a look at what the artist has to say about themselves, and it seems to round out the picture a little bit as far as where that artist is coming from and what he's trying to say.
Uh-huh. You mentioned something about the obvious, which is this was scheduled in March, and then COVID came along and closed the gallery. How has the pandemic affected you, affected the gallery? Are we back open now? Can you put this in perspective?
Yeah, we were closed. We were closed for 6 months, and just recently reopened in October, if I'm not mistaken. And we're open now 3 days a week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Before we were open 5 days a week. So we've shortened our hours. We've eliminated the third Thursday get-togethers because we're opened under a 25% capacity mandate, so we don't exceed that on a normal day, but we do when we have a third Thursday event. So we've stopped doing that for the time. Hopefully, when we get some relief with cures and other things related to COVID, that we'll be able to get back to a regular schedule, get the social portion of our arrangement going, so that we continue with those third Thursdays. But right now, we're just kind of taking it easy and open on a limited basis. And so we're hoping that people, those 3 days seem to be the best days for visits.
Okay. it's time to move on and take a look at the show. Now, I understand you have some paintings in the show, and but I understand the presentation is set up alphabetically. So I guess we'll get to your paintings when we get to your paintings in this
It
presentation.
depends. Yeah, it depends on whether you started with my name being Anthony or Tony, I guess, where it falls.
I don't know. We'll see. So why don't we take a look at what's going on in the gallery? What's hanging there right now? So
Love to.
there we go. Okay. Oh, so who is this? And yep.
I dropped my crib sheet, but I've got it now. This is Annis Burns. Annis was actually was a teacher in our gallery for a number of years. She had a very dedicated following. She's a watercolorist. She has some delightful small paintings, and then she has this postcards from California, which is their large piece, and it is a map of California, as you can see, with a lot of small scenes all around it. It's a delightful painting, and she her quotation on her biography is, "I do it for the fun of it."
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, she's
next.
an interesting gal.
Okay, who do we have here?
This is Anna Barber, and Anna Barber is a digital artist, meaning she takes photographic images and reworks them into themes, into various artistic labels. If you show the one up close, you can see how there's a combination of different images in there, and it produces just an amazing effect. She calls the process photo fusion, which I guess is probably a good description as any, because she does take the digital images and or other images. She can also paint, and she has added some of that from time to time as well.
I've known Anna for years. There was a time I had a little photo gallery up the street, and she used to exhibit there. And she's always struggled with being recognized as either a photographer or as an artist. And at the same time, even though she struggled with that, she's one of the most decorated artists that we have. She enters contests all over and has a giant collection of ribbons.
Oh, terrific! Yeah, I really didn't know that the extent of that, but I knew she had a lot of recognition.
Yeah. Okay, we have a lot to see. Let's go on. What do we have here?
This is Barbara Gill, and Barbara is a plein air artist, mostly doing watercolors. She belongs to the Monterey Plein Air Association, and she spends, she has affiliations there. She shows in some galleries in the Monterey area as well. We really appreciate her partnership here, and she does some delightful, very, very colorful work, and you have to understand these are all done outdoors in the cold, handling the paint in the wind and the sun and or the cold, and so this is a whole different experience than sitting in a studio and making art.
Okay. Oh, there's
you can see the seascape is indicative of the way she pulls natural colors and the ability to show the light in that way is really remarkable.
Okay, great. So
this is Carolyn Huff, and Carolyn started out as a photographer, and she still uses photography as a basis for her painting, but the paintings themselves come out as paintings with acrylic and colors, and the the work is absolutely unique. And she comes back with some just lovely, lovely images based on her unique style.
Okay, great. And next we have here.
Oh, this is another Carolyn. This is Carolyn Rossman, and Carolyn Rossman is one of our more senior members. I think I mentioned earlier that some individuals have been members for 40 years or more, and Carolyn is one of them. But she hasn't lost a step in all those years. She has just some wonderful, wonderful eye for color, and this particular painting is just, it's delightful. It has little splashes of color throughout, and you can see her ability to capture the light, and just she makes me happy when I see her paintings, because you can see that she's just enjoying herself like crazy.
Okay.
This looks like Cella, and Cella is one of our institutions. You spoke earlier of Anna Barber being recognized. Well, Cella is also one of the. She probably has a wall full of ribbons for her achievements over the years. She is a plain art artist. Plus, she's done some very large scale work. She did a mural recently that was that featured the developing of the valley over the years, and it can be seen at a veterinary hospital on Beckwith Road. She is, she's a remarkable lady. Yeah, this is an example of one of her paintings, and she has a style that is absolutely unique. Just I've watched her work. I've painted out with her. In fact, little story. Cella and I and a couple of other painters were at Jacob Myers Park in Riverbank, and it was a cold, misty morning, and my nose was running, and she came up to me and said, "Aren't we lucky to be able to do this?" And she was just having a great time.
Could we back up? I see the painting. She also did this abstract human there. She seems to have a variety of styles.
She has, in the last several years, she's really become. Maybe she has before, but I've noticed that a lot of her work has become more abstract. In fact, 2 years ago, we both were in the Yosemite Renaissance. She actually won a prize with a painting that was quite abstract, and that was really a nice painting there too. So she'll go wherever art takes her.
Okay. So next. Whoa! I recognize those. What are you going to say about this, Tony?
This remarkable photographer. Actually, this is your stuff, Dave, and you know that. But it's like a little smidgen, a little sample of the breadth and depth of your work. So I'm going to play your game now and see if I can't elicit some responses, because I know you post on Facebook some work, and you recently made a statement saying that as I look through my records, I like my old stuff better than my new stuff. Well, what I noticed though, Dave, is that your old stuff is from pretty exotic places, and
Right.
that might be part of it.
Yeah, that's true. This is
So
something. This is something different for me. Um, Usually, I do landscapes, people, places, things. Um, but in my travels, I just started noticing industrial factories. Call it industrial art, and people ask me about it, but I say, the cornerstones of art: color, contrast, balance, perspective, composition. All those things are in play regardless of the subject. Too often, art is associated with a specific subject, and a lot of people wouldn't consider this art because of the subject matter. But actually, it's quite pleasing to look at least to me, and I've sold a number of these. So it has some interest somewhere. Yeah.
There's something of a symphony in the movement and the way the shapes move together and interlock. So yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Anyway, enough of that. Let's move on.
Oh, Diane Sorensen is one of our most versatile artists. She has done some remarkable wall art, as you can see here, but she also has done some remarkable three-dimensional work as well. This gargoyle is
It's amazing.
looks like it could be on the top of a building in Gotham City. It is, except it has a little bit more of a smile. It's really a remarkable piece.
And
I think she uses paper mache for most of this.
what's remarkable about it is those her sculptures are paper mache.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. You think when you pick it up that it's
right.
going to take two people, but it's not terribly heavy.
Oh. Anyway, I'm impressed. She does remarkable work. Yeah. There's a close up of one of her paintings.
Yeah, this is called Searching for Ice, and it is really it tells the tale, doesn't it? Just of our global warming problem.
Yep. Okay. Ah,
This young artist, Eric Cotton, is just a remarkable young man. This painting is 3 feet by 4 feet, and in it captures colors and textures, and it's a remarkable piece of work. Now, Eric studied with Richard Serra, who was a member of our gallery and an officer, a vice president for a while until he moved away. And Eric picked a lot of his talent and skills from his association with Richard, I'm sure. But this is an example of his work. What we need to do is get him back in front of a palette and a canvas and have him produce more stuff, because he needs to get back to work.
yeah. It's an interesting piece. It's very eye catching as you go through the gallery. It's one of those things that you notice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there we go.
This young lady is another one of our longtime members. This is I'm looking here, Jan
Hardy.
Jan Hardy. Yeah, thank you. And she has she is another one who will do plein air. I've painted with her for a number of different times in locations on plein air, and she really enjoys it. She gets there early and tries to catch the dawn light as it comes up over the mountains, and she's very skilled. In fact, she did do a workshop about 5 or 6 years ago, and got a lot of additional people interested in the pastel work. So yeah, Jan is a very versatile gal, as well as she'll step up. She has organized several of our field trips, and we really appreciate her participation there for that.
Okay. Ah, hello.
That's Jan's Brahma calf.
Is it? Does she really have that, or that's a calf that she just?
I suspect that's from a photograph. I don't know for sure, but to get an animal to sit still for any length of time, it better be a photograph.
Harking back to the beginning of the show when Linda listed all of her pets, you know.
Oh yeah, no, this is not her pet.
So I was wondering if this was part of her menagerie. So anyway,
Yeah.
Either way, it's a lovely picture. So,
this looks like Karen Kingsbury. Karen is actually our feature artist this month. She does a lot of these 3D pieces, and these are done as mosaics. And she starts with a styrofoam mandible, and then coats it in cement because she wants her stuff to be outdoor, able to withstand the weather out of doors. So she goes to these extra pains to make sure that's the case. So she covers with concrete, then she applies the mosaic to that. So it's in addition to being just delightful and colorful, it's also quite durable. This is spring chicken. You can see the spring in there. It's from a 56 DeSoto, and the chicken is more recent.
Okay.
And here's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got and as I said, this is a planter, so it can be, you can put this in your backyard if you want.
Seems like she has a good sense of humor.
She does. She's a delightful lady. In fact, again, when we are able to meet and under non-COVID circumstances, she does teach her mosaic classes in our gallery and elsewhere, but we want to get her back in, and she has created a great deal of interest in the mosaic process, and so we'd like her to help people understand how they can move forward with that.
Great.
Now here, there's a behind-the-scenes person here that's that we're not showing, but Linda Knoll is, among other things, our manager of the gallery, but primarily she is just an outstanding watercolorist. She has a lot of different styles. She's an illustrator. She is currently just published a book, but she's published a number of other books, mostly for children. But this, you can see the painting there in the large painting, which we'll show it close up, I guess, in a minute. Yeah, the sock drawer. It takes a special eye to be able to see something like that and say, you know what, that would make a great painting. And so we this I don't know if I could have done that. I couldn't.
One of the other things we should add about Linda is that she's head of the class program at the gallery, which is focused on putting the art back in schools.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah.
She has a number of teachers who are waiting to be able to get back into the classroom.
Yep.
You know, again, that's kind of been suspended because of COVID.
Yeah. Okay.
Lori DeMuro is primarily, she does figures, and these three are examples of her work. There's just delicate watercolor figure studies, and if a purchaser were to come in, I would suggest that they buy all three, because you know, this kind of collection would be just beautiful in an office or a den situation.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, she has a very nice touch. Very nice touch.
So,
Oh, Mary Jane Kiskinen. Here's another versatile artist. Every time you think you have someone defined, you know, you'd like to say she's a watercolorist, or she's an oil painter, or she's a sculptress. She does all kinds of wonderful things. Here's an example of one in a beautiful acrylic painting. Then next to it is a ceramic piece with a very shiny acrylic glaze, and she's also and a 3D piece that she's done in clay. But in addition to that, she does felting. She makes purses. She has a number of different pieces in our gift shop. And, you know, you may not, I don't think we have much in the way of items to show today in the gift shop. However, there are a whole array of jewelry items, ceramic items, and small paintings back there for if someone is contemplating a Christmas gift, that would be a great place to shop.
great.
Who's next? This is a new artist, Michelle Askland, and she had only one piece available in this, so this is the only one that she has in the show. But she's actually an educator. She teaches school locally, but she produces these lovely, delicate florals. Most of her work is similar to this, and you know, this is a fairly large painting, and so these little watercolors are just marvelous. Michelle, we're really happy to have her showing in the gallery, and look forward to getting more of her work on our walls, because they're just nice, very nice pieces.
Okay.
Randy Krimmel is one of the region's premier ceramicists. He just seems to outdo himself every time around. He teaches at MJC, and he has a great hand at producing, you know, fine decorative work, but he also does bowls and mugs, and you know, the kinds of things that you can use around the house. So he's got a lot of talent, and he is a great contributor to the gallery. Yeah, look and see. That's just a beautiful piece. Look at the colors he's got. He's just, those subtle gradations are not easy to accomplish. you really have to work your glazes very well to get that effect.
Yeah. So I just interrupt here something. A couple people have noticed the fact that in our airing this show that there's some background noise, and we have no idea what it is. I can only apologize to the people who are watching. Keep working on it and see if we can get rid of it. But there is some extensive background noise. We don't know what it is. So apologize for that. So let's go on as best we can here at this point.
That said, okay, this artwork is by Richard Jones, and Richard works on a very large scale, and he has a unique style, very bold colors, and he's actually an historian, and some of his work, as you can see down on the bottom corner there, represents a scene from a historical event, because he does the research and then he paints the picture to back up the research. So Richard has really developed into a very very productive painter. He has a lot of work every time, and he loves to show it.
Great. So, okay.
Okay, who we got here? This is Sam Cooke. Sam has some. He's one of my favorite guys, and because he does these wonderful paintings in which the light just seems to come off the painting. If you can't really appreciate it from this angle, but he gets the light and the depth and the values in his paintings, and these are fairly small paintings. He's got a lot of detail there, and he is just a fine oil colorist, and these works are a nice example of what he does. His themes sometimes are Western, but these don't tend to be that way. But he'll do. You might find Indians and covered wagons and those kinds of things in some of his paintings at some time or another. But Sam does a great job.
Okay.
Susan Maitia is a very unique artist. She comes to us from Kenya, and she has developed a series of works that using very bold colors, and just has a. She's traveled the world and holds multiple degrees. And she just is a very enthusiastic painter, and her subject matter is from all over the globe. She's literally a globetrotter, and has captured a lot of images that she can produce as art, and everyone can enjoy. These, I think, are acrylics. Yeah, Susan is excellent. Oh, here we go with Tommy Lou Carosella. Now, Tommy Lou has her background is she's a biologist. She's retired now, but she has a very eclectic palette, and she just seems to, when I was talking about artists who have improved over the years, Tommy Lou is one of those who, when she first started, her paintings were okay, but year after year after year, she has improved. She's developed into a number of different styles. You can see here she's got some very fine representational paintings, some somewhat impressionistic paintings, plus this abstract, which I don't know if there's a title to it, but she called it "The Bride and the Bear" one day, and I remember her saying that, and it is kind of a. In fact, this one sold. So we're very proud that she got the sale too.
Okay. So, oh, there you are.
I don't know who the hell this guy is.
Yeah, well, we all do. This is your work, Tony. We expect a full-blown artist here.
This is the show. The theme of the show is called "Meet the Artist," and when I first started, I was doing these cars, like that little car on the far right corner, and it quickly developed into larger pieces, and I developed. I kind of liked doing watercolors more than most of the other kinds. So I love my little landscapes. I love to do the little landscapes, and this one here I've promised already to somebody, and they'll be working with me to get it picked up at some point. But this is a poppy field. This is up at Knights Ferry, and the image. The light was just right, so this was one of those times when I didn't have to wait until the sunset. It seemed to be just right at that time. I took the picture and finished the painting in my studio at home.
Oh, it's a beautiful painting. Now,
yeah, this little guy. I used to go to car shows and take photographs of these cars, and this one was one of my favorite automobiles. I would just love to have a car like that.
Yeah. So, are you a graffiti fan? Do you show up every year for the graffiti event in this town?
Yeah, I do that. I like the vintage cars. There's a period of time from the late 1920s through the 1950s that the cars were they didn't look the same as they do seem to today. It's hard to tell cars apart now, but before you could tell them apart by their looks, by their sounds, by the noise they made when they rattled down the street. There was all kinds of ways to tell cars apart. Well, Vicky Reed is she's comfortable in doing a lot of different subject matter. She's got landscapes here. She's got portraits, and she's got acrylics and oils. She seems to be very versatile in just about anything she tries. Interestingly enough, she hasn't been painting all that long. Most of these other people that we've talked about are like me. They started young and have painted off and on all their lives. Vicky came to painting within the last several years, and she picked it up, and she's just an excellent painter, and you can see her sense of perspective and the way she captures light and the detail. She's just a very impressive painter. What can you say about Virginia White? Virginia is one of our premier watercolorists. She's well known regionally and even throughout in many instances throughout the country for her work. She loves to make art out of landscape items that you wouldn't think. The grain towers there, for example. She finds something artistic about some of these scenes, and she's well known in the area for doing pictures of local landmarks and if you come into our gallery, you will see her work, and plus she has a number of prints that are available for a very reasonable price, and so she does a lot of secondary sales as far as that goes. This is a really this painting just pops off the wall. It really just has such presence. Those blossoms, she captures that, and that's hard to do on watercolor paper. You you gotta really have skills to do that.
That's why I stay away from it. Okay, is that the, oh, look at that.
Here we are, back full circle.
Oh my gosh, Tony, thank you for the tour. A lot of talented
That was
people,
great.
a lot of talented members. So, yeah, really appreciate that.
Now that you've had a chance to meet all your artists, I'd like to extend an invitation to everyone who's listening to come into the gallery and see the work firsthand.
Right. Yes, please do. So, the way we usually end up these shows, to put you on the spot. Give you some
Oh, sure. Come on.
quick questions, quick fire questions. So I'm going to let Linda start out. She usually starts this out. So what are you going to lay on him right now?
Okay, Tony, what sound
What
do you like
sounds
best?
do I like best?
Yeah.
I think I like the sound of a gurgling stream. That stream, moving water is one of one of my favorite subjects to paint. And while I'm there, it's a very restful and peaceful impression, as well as the visual as well as the sound.
So what sound do you like least?
I'm sorry.
What sound do you like least?
Oh, I'm probably like a lot of people. There are certain sounds that aren't fun to listen to. You could go for the gamut from a scratching blackboard to a child crying. There's all kinds of things that are upsetting in different ways.
Yes.
What's your go-to food?
I just had. I'm the cook in this house, and today we're making a stuffed pork loin. But my go-to food is probably something like meatloaf.
Okay.
Meatloaf or spaghetti or something that that's pretty basic.
If you weren't an artist, what would you be?
I studied for a while to be a automobile designer, an engineer, that type of thing, and I ended up in as an executive for a food company. So, sometimes the education that you choose, if it's liberal enough, will prepare you for a lot of different things.
Yeah. That's where your car in.
Yeah, I think so. That's where I
If you could,
started looking hard at automobiles, and there were people that I really kind of admired, like John DeLorean before he fell off the wagon, and there was a guy for Chrysler who developed some just wonderful looking cars. Those designers were unique.
Uh-huh.
if you could snap your fingers and be anywhere in space and time, where would you go?
Oh boy. I think I'd like to be on hand for the gold rush, for some of the things that we went. We still have remnants of that around here. I love to go up to Columbia and sketch and paint, and I'd kind of like to see that in as it was.
Okay, so what's your favorite plant?
My favorite plant. I got to tell you, my favorite plant is something that is kind of pedestrian. Early in the spring, we have a whole bunch of pots in our yards, and early in the spring, we plant impatiens, and they last all season long. They're still out there in the backyard working their, they're starting to, first freeze is going to kill them, but we'll get some new ones next year, and they just seem to perk up everything.
What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's dogs. We have cats now because they're a little easier to care for. Well, the ones we have now aren't easy to care for. They're paranoid, but normally their cats are easy to care for. But we have had some just wonderful canines in our past, and I kind of miss their companionship.
So what's your favorite motivation in life? Fame, love, money?
Are those the limits of my choices?
Yeah, fame, love, money.
We're
going to put you in a category.
I don't have. I don't need any more money. I don't need any more fame, and I feel that I have the love of my life still at my side. So I'm doing fine.
Okay.
What gives you hope?
This has been a year that question is a really testy question, but I do have hope that we can get to the other side of this COVID situation. I have hope that we can mend the divisiveness in not only our country but worldwide. The things that are going on now, I can't understand. They're beyond my ken.
I think you speak. So finally, what's it going to say on your tombstone?
What's it going to say on my tombstone?
Yeah.
I've asked. I've hinted to my daughter that if they ever hold a memorial service after I die, that I would like to have played the Bobby McFerrin song of "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," because life to me is fleeting and frivolous, and I maybe "Over the Rainbow" would be something to carve on there. I don't know.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tony. Thank you so much for being with us today.
I enjoyed it.
Got a good look at a lot of the other artists in the area, especially at Mistlin. And for those of you watching, we're going to be off next week. It's the Sunday following Thanksgiving. Thought we'd give you the whole weekend. And we'll be back on, I was going to say December 6th with Vance Whitaker, who is the area's makeup artist. He works with all of the theater companies around and has created some wonderful
that should be it.
Yeah, it's a
that
different,
should be an exciting show.
Yeah, so we look forward to seeing you then, and until then, goodbye. Thanks for looking. Bye, Tony. Bye, Linda.
Bye-bye.